not saying this out of jealousy, Milena. I'm not jealous. Either the world is so tiny or else we are gigantic. In any case, we feel it completely. Of whom should I be jealous? I mean, to be fair, she has a husband. So, hey, good morning. Welcome to Books by Ivan. My name is Ivan and I read books. And today I'm covering Letters to Milena by Franz Kafka. Judging by the title of the last video, you guys will go to the conclusion that he's on the final train to go meet Milena in Prague, and you're right. And I'm hoping that in the letters of today, we get to get a glimpse of them being together. With that being said, get yourself comfortable, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get into today's letter. Prague, July 5th, 1920, Monday. I think, naturally, I should go to sleep. It's 1 o'clock at night. I would have written you long before this evening, but Max was here, whom I really wanted to see, and whom I couldn't see because of the girl and my worries concerning her. I was with the girl until 8:30. Max had said he'll drop by at 9. Then we went walking around till 12:30. Just think, he didn't realize what I had thought was blindingly clear in my letters. That you. Again, the writing stops for a moment. That it's you I'm talking about. I hadn't ever spelled it out so bluntly since his wife could have read the letters. And now, once again, Milena. One of my lies. The second one. You asked, shocked, whether I thought the Reiner affair in Mile crossed out. I wanted to write Max but wrote Milena, then crossed out the name. Don't condemn me for that. It really makes me hurt so much I want to cry. Max's letter was meant as a warning. I hadn't exactly thought of it as a warning, just something like a musical accompaniment to the text. However, when I saw how frightened you were, I consciously lied to you. I had to get up. Somewhere a member of that feared race of mice is gnawing away, denying there was any connection, although it turns out there wasn't any connection. I didn't know that, and so I lied. The girl, she was better today, but as the high cost of my having allowed her to write to you, I'm very sorry I did. The telegram I sent to the post office in your name today is a sure sign of my anxiety over you. Girl is writing you, please answer kindly. And here I really wanted to add a very firmly and don't abandon me. On the whole, things went more smoothly today. I prevailed upon myself to talk peacefully about Miran. The mood became less ominous. But once the conversation returned to the main subject, her whole body went on shaking for minutes. Next to me, at the Karlsplatz. The only thing I could say was, that next to you, everything else, even if it hasn't changed in itself, disappears and turns to nothing. She posed her last questions, against which I have never been able to defend myself. Namely, I can't leave, but if you send me away, then I'll go. Are you sending me away? She has a way with words, I'll admit. There's something very loathsome apart from the arrogance in my telling you this, but I'm doing so out of fear for you. What wouldn't I do out of fear for you? Look what a strange new type of fear. I replied, yes, to which she said, but I really can't go. And then she became talkative beyond her strength. Poor thing, saying that she didn't understand at all, that you love your husband and still were talking with me in secret, etc. To be honest, she also had some bad words about you, for which I would have liked to hate her and should have. No, you will not hate her. My God, Kafka. But, I mean, like, God, he wanted to hate her. Jesus. To be honest, she also had some bad words about you, for which I would have liked to hit her and should have, but wasn't. But wasn't I bound to let her at least pour out her grievance? She mentions that she would like to write you, and in my worry about her, and in my infinite trust in you, I consented, although I knew this would cost me a few nights' sleep. I was upset precisely by the fact that this consent calmed her down, but friendly and firm, but more firm than friendly. But what am I saying? For don't I know that you'll write whatever's best? And isn't my fear that in her distress she might write something insidious and turn you against me, a great dishonor to you? Of course, it is a dishonor, but what am I supposed to do if this fear, and not my heart, is beating in my body? I shouldn't have consented after all, and now I'm going to see her again tomorrow. It's a holiday. She begged me so much to go off with her somewhere in the afternoon. She said I wouldn't have to see her for the rest of the week. Maybe I can persuade her not to write the letter, if she hasn't already done so. On the other hand, I then said to myself, maybe she only wants an explanation. Maybe your words will calm her precisely through its friendly firmness. Maybe this is how all my thoughts run now. She will kneel before your letters. Frank, Milena. That was the end of the first letter, and in the margin of the letter, it says, another reason I allowed her to write, she wanted to see some of your letters to me, but I can't show them to her. I wanted to see the letters too, so I understand how she feels. I wanted to see the letters too, but we're only seeing things from his perspective, right? Which, well, kind of sucks, but what can we do? With that out of the way, let's get into today's second letter. July 6, 1920, Tuesday morning. A slight blow for me, a telegram from Paris, informing me that an old uncle of mine, whom I really am very fond of, who lives in Madrid and who hasn't been here for many years is arriving tomorrow evening. It is a blow because it will take time, and I need all the time I have, and 1,000 times more than all the time I have. And most of all, I like to have all the time there. It's just for you. For thinking about you, for breathing in you. Pause. Hold on. Let's rewind that. It is a blow because it will take time, and I need all the time I have, and 1,000 times more than all the time I have, and most all I'd like to have all the time there is just for you, for thinking about you, for breathing in you. My God, this is confusing. So he wants all the time that he has, and all the time that time has to be for Milena, to be with Milena. My days. Why not just write it like that? Why going through all the whatever? My apartment is making me restless. The evenings are making me restless. I like to be someplace different. I like many things to be different, and I prefer it if the office didn't exist at all. But then I think that I deserve to be hit in the face for speaking beyond the present moment, this moment which belongs to you. So may I go to Lauren? He knows speak. For example, won't it be easy for words to get out this way that I was in Vienna? Please write me about it. Max is very upset over the news from the sanatorium concerning Rebran. He is reproaching himself from having thoughtlessly broken off what he had begun to arrange for Rebran. Moreover, his relation with the authorities are now such that he might be able to obtain everything necessary without great difficulties. He urgently asks you to kindly summarize what there is to say concerning the injustice being done in Rebram. If you can, send me this short summary when you get a chance. Somehow, I can write about anything, but what concerns us and us alone in the middle of the crowded world? Everything else is foreign to me. Wrong, but my lips are babbling and my face is lying in your lap. Pause. Wait. Somehow, I can't write about anything but what concerns us and us alone. In the middle of the crowded world, everything else is foreign to me. Wrong, but my lips are babbling and my face is lying in your lap. Are they already together? Guess it doesn't say. I read one letter so far, it doesn't say. Vienna did leave behind one bitter aftertaste. May I say it? Up in the woods, I believe it was the second day, you said something like, the battle over the front hall can't last long. And now, in the next to the last letter to Moran, you wrote about your illness. How am I supposed to find my way out from between these two things? I'm not saying this out of jealousy, Milena. I'm not jealous. Either The world is so tiny, or else we are gigantic. In any case, we feel it completely. Of whom should I be jealous? I mean, to be fair, she has a husband, so that was the end of the second letter. Let's get into the third letter of the day. You see, Milena, now I'm sending you the letters myself and have no idea what it contains. It happened like this. I had promised her that I'd be waiting in front of her house this afternoon at 3:30. We were supposed to go on a steamboat ride, but last night I got to bed very late and hardly slept. So this morning I sent her a pneumatic letter saying that I had to sleep this afternoon and could not come until 6. In my uneasiness, which will not be assuaged by all the safeguard of letters and telegrams, I added, "Do not send the letter to Vienna until we discuss it." But she had already written it early this morning, half out of her senses. She can't even say what she wrote, and throwing it in the mailbox right away. Upon receiving my letter, the poor girl runs to the main post office, absolutely horrified, managing to intercept the letter somewhere, and is so happy that she gives the official all the money she has. Only later, she is shocked at the amount, and in the evening bring me the letter. What am I to do now? After all, my hope for a prompt and completely happy solution rests on this letter. And on the effect of your reply, I admit it is an irrational hope, but it's the only one I have. If I now open the letter and read it, in the first place I will anger her, and in the second it would then be impossible for me to send it. I therefore placed it sealed in your hands, wholly, utterly, just as I have already placed myself in them. It's a little gloomy in Prague. I haven't received any letter. My heart is a little heavy. Of course, it's impossible that a letter could be here already, but explain that to my heart. Okay, so what I'm getting from all the letters that I have read so far is that he's opening himself up like never before. Because on page 74 of the book, right, the one that I was just reading, it says, "I therefore placed it sealed in your hands, wholly, utterly, just as I have already placed myself in them." My dear Kafka, to love is to become open, is to let yourself be seen like never before. And that's what we're doing in this book. With that being said, let's get into the fourth letter of the day. Wow, is it already the fourth? I didn't even realize. Wow. Prague, July 6, 1920, Tuesday. No sooner I had mailed the letter than it occurred to me. How could I have asked you to do this? Apart from the fact that it's really just up to me to do what should and must be done. It's probably impossible for you to write and entrust such a reply to a stranger. So now, Milena, forgive me. The letters and the telegrams, attribute them to my reason made weak by parting from you. Oh man. It doesn't matter if you don't reply. I just have to find another solution. Don't worry about this. It's only that I'm so exhausted from all the walks. Today, up on the Fisharder escarpment. On top of this, my uncle is arriving tomorrow, and I won't have much time for myself. But on the better subject, do you know when you wrote most beautifully dressed in Vienna, absolutely, absurdly beautifully dressed, there can't be any argument about it. On Sunday. Let's read that once again. But on a better subject, do you know when you were most beautifully dressed in Vienna? Absolutely, absurdly beautifully dressed? That can be an argument. On Sunday. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that he already got to Prague, right? In the second letter of the day, he talked about being in his office, which was in Prague. He was working, so he already got there and they met. And in every letter, there are subtle passages, right? About them being together, him laying his face in her lap. Just like there are subtle passages. But that's not exactly what I was expecting. You know? He's opening himself up, which is good. He's becoming vulnerable. But I was expecting something more in touch with my emotions, I guess. Something that would make me smile and giggle. But none of that has happened, which is kind of somewhat disappointing. But we get small snippet of them being together, but whatever. With that being said, let's get into the last letter of the day. Prague, July 7, 1920, Wednesday evening. Just a few words to concentrate my new apartment, written in the utmost haste because my parents are arriving from France and Bad at 10 and my uncle at 12 from Paris, and both want to be met. New apartment because in order to give my uncle some room, I've moved into my sister's apartment, which is empty while she is in Marienbad. An empty large apartment, how wonderful. The street, however, is noisier. Even so, it's not too bad a trade. And I have to write you, Milena, because you might conclude from my last lamenting letters, I tore up the worst one this morning out of shame. I think I still don't have any news from you, but it's stupid to complain about the mail. What do I have to do with the postal service? That I'm unsure of you, that I'm afraid of losing you. No, I'm not unsure. Could you be what you are to me if I were unsure? I feel this way because our brief physical closeness and sudden physical separation. Okay, so they did meet. They met, but it doesn't say what happened when they met. This is, oh my God. Why did it have to be on Sunday? Why 7 o'clock? Why happened at all? The whole thing can be a little confusing. Forgive me, and when you go to bed tonight, as a good night wish for me, in one stream, everything I am and have, all of which is fully happy to rest in you. Wait. He has a way with words, which is amazing. Let's read this one more time. Forgive me, and when you go to bed tonight, as a good night wish for me, taking all in one stream, everything I am and have, all of which is blissfully happy to rest in you. Oh la la, beautiful. And that was the end of the letters. And if you're one of the very few people that stay to the very end, they met. They didn't tell us what happened, or we get a small snippet in every letters about them being together, which I wanted more. Kind of disappointed right now. I wanted more, but with that being said, this was Books by Yvonne, and I hope you enjoyed the reading. But I wanted more. Be good people. Stay well and stay well.